Hello friends, welcome to Kavita's classroom. Let's continue the discussion of sample papers, and today we are going to discuss Indian Economic Development Part 2 or Part B. So here we go. So let's begin, and our first question is question number 18. It's statement 1 and 2 type question. The statement 1 says the British policies were accountable for commercialization of Indian agriculture. Yes or no? Think about this. In the larger interest of Indians, the British rulers focused on infrastructural growth of India. So, what comes to your mind? This is clearly a false statement. The second one is false, and the first one is true. So, our answer is yes, A. The statement 1 is true and second is false because it's talking about the infrastructural growth of India for the larger interest of Indians. No, it was for their own selfish interest. Rest, yes, it's true that commercialization happened because of the Britishers' policies. The next question is assertion and reasoning based. Assertion says information plays a vital, crucial role in judicious decision making about investing in human capital. It's correct. And individuals invest to acquire information about the labor market and other areas such as education and healthcare. So that's also true. And it's again giving the reason of the first statement. Hence, it becomes a true statement. The answer is A. Identify which of the following statement is not true and doesn't indicate the similarities in the policies of India and Pakistan. So we have to see three of the following are common strategies and one is not. So we have read about it. Let's pick and choose. Yes, Green Revolution happened in both the countries, import substitution also, and both of them followed the mixed economic pattern. It means dual pricing policy is our answer, that it does not show the similarity. India had it, but Pakistan did not have. Moving ahead, the next question says, identify which of the following statement is incorrect about the rural banking in India. So, in the post independence period, a well structured rural banking system was formulated in India. Yes, it is correct. Rural banking system in India consists of a set of multi-agency institutions. Yes, a number of institutes are working for the same. Regional rural banks, cooperative and land development banks are few important examples or components of rural banking system in India. Very true. Then, rural banking system in India works under the guidance and instruction and supervision of State Bank of India. It looks some problematic statement. Yes, what is it? It is NABARD which takes care of it. What is NABARD? National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. So for rural banking, NABARD is the highest apex authority, not State Bank of India. So this is the incorrect statement. Hence, this is my answer. Next question. Question number 22 says, in the post-independence era, the policymakers of India pushed for self-interest, self-reliance for the first dash 5-year plans. We have completed so far 12 5-year plans. And if we talk about the motives, fifth was for the poverty removal, sixth was for infrastructural development, seventh was for self-reliance, and eighth is for human resource development. So for self-reliance, it is the seventh. This is for poverty removal, right? Sixth was for infrastructure. And eighth is for, this is for human resource development. So seventh was for self-reliance. Okay. Then continuing ahead, we have production of diverse varieties of crops rather than one specialized crop is known as diversification of crops. Okay. If we go for animal husbandry, pisciculture, sericulture, cattle breeding, so that is diversification of agricultural production. Right here, if we are going for more than one types of crops, it means it's diversification of crops. Going ahead, in identify which of the following statement is again incorrect about the functions of environment. Environment provides us resources, absorbs waste, sustains life, and deteriorates the quality of life. No, this is the wrong statement, and hence this is my answer. Because environment does all positive for us, right? And without this environment, we cannot survive. And there is sometimes a question asked about the functions of environment also. So all these 3 points could be written, which were given below in the previous question. Next, read the following statements carefully, statement 1 and 2, and then we have to talk about the true and false. Let us see. The FCI, Food Corporation of India, maintains buffered stock of wheat and rice as a measure to improve market mechanism. Yes. And the minimum support price is imposed by the government to safeguard the interest of farmers. Again, this is true. So both the statements are true here. Suppose an economy is experiencing a situation of rise in real gross domestic product. Okay, it means our GDP is rising without any corresponding rise in the employment opportunities. So this would be called as dash type of growth. See, growth is there, but employment is not there. So we say this is jobless growth. Okay. Moving ahead, 27th question says, assertion is excessive regulation of permit license Raj prevented certain private firms from becoming more efficient. True, because that is considered to be a negative aspect. And why? Private sector wasted significant time in obtaining licenses rather than enhancing product quality and international competitiveness. And this is again true. Because of this, the focus deviated only for just getting the licenses, and they could not just focus on quality and competitiveness. So this is a true statement, and this given reason is also true. It is valid, right? So my answer becomes A. Question number 28 says, elaborate the economic reforms in agriculture sector undertaken by China. We must understand that the aggregable land in China is far less because of its weather topographical reasons, right? So what did China do? It tried to go for community land. So it pooled in all the land and then gave the plots to individuals, right? On not on ownership basis, but to work on them. And then they were told that but for the stipulated taxes, the whole income can be kept by them. So this way they tried to bring the economic reforms in the field of agriculture. Moving ahead, question number 29th, A part. Under the British rule, India underwent systematic economic exploitations with its resources and wealth being diverted to Britain. Justify with the explanation. So it's very much clearly read and understood by us that Britishers had a focus that they wanted India to be just the agrarian economy. They wanted us to be working only on the primary sector. They wanted us to do the agriculture. Whatever was the requirement out of agriculture was exported to England. And whatever their industries produced, the same output was sold back to India. Means they wanted India to be the exporter of raw material and importer of the finished good from England. So this way they tried to bring the industrial revolution in their own country, and hence they simply exploited our resources and wealth to Britain. Okay. Or you may talk about the B section. B section talks about the Navratna policy adopted by Government of India during reforms. So during reforms, government tried to infill and instill professional attitude, growth, and proficiency in its units. So it identified few good units and gave them the autonomy, operational autonomy, so that they could take all the vital decisions without any bureaucratic and system related delays, so that they can go for more productivity. So they tried to make some of its units more efficient, and yes, it did really do well. With tagging them as Navratna, they could perform better than others. Moving ahead, we have distinguish between human and physical capital. So very much easy. Human capital is the stock of skill and expertise which any country has at a point of time. But physical capital is a man-made capital, right? In terms or the naturally occurring capital like land, or you can talk about machine, land and building and all, right? So you cannot extract human capital from a human being, but you can really extract, it's saleable. Physical capital is saleable in the market, but you can't sell human capital in the market. This is intangible, this is tangible. Right. And it's human capital which is superior to physical capital, because physical capital can be utilized if and only if you have human capital to use it. So human capital is superior to physical capital. Then they say describe LPG and gobar gas as strategies used to achieve sustainable development in rural areas. LPG is a clean fuel, so it gives pollution-free environment. Otherwise, in rural areas, when they burn wood for cooking purposes, that pollutes the environment altogether. And when they say gobar gas, it's a wonderful solution, because its input is major input, is the cow dung, which is used as the major input, and then you have two items. So one, the gobar gas is released, which is used for cooking and other uses, and the slurry, which is left out as the waste, that is used as organic manure for the agriculture purpose. So this way it gives the twin benefits, right? In our section, you can go for B part 1 and 2. What is it? Critically appraise the microcredit programs in rural India. So microcredit programs are very, very helpful, because in rural India, the basic trouble is people do not have their collateral with them. They do not have any property which can be given as mortgage to banks. So microcredit programs really helps to bridge up that gap of formal credit programs, which is really not available in the rural areas. And this actually promotes the self-help groups and all the small groups which are working for economic strength, right? Then you have state the meaning of sustainable development. Sustainable development means that type of development which fulfills the present needs without compromising the needs of the future generation. It means it is focusing on development without any deterioration of the environment and without any exhaustion of all the resources like fossil fuels, right? So that we do not deplete all the resources and we do leave some resources for the future generations. Now, next is, this is an extract which is given about China and which talks about one child policy introduction and then how it was reverted back, and there were changes made in 2015 and 21 in context of one child policy. And these are the significant consequences given about introduction of one child policy, like increasing aging population, gender imbalances, and all. So the first question is, explain the consequence of implementation of one child policy in India. Right, consequences are being asked. It means you have to give at least two, more than one, right? So one clear consequence is that it controlled the population, which was the need of the hour at that time. So it limited the population growth, right? And then they say there are some other consequences. They haven't talked about positive, negative, or it simply is talking about the impacts. So second, third, fourth consequence can be taken from this second paragraph. that it resulted in the increased aging population, then gender imbalances due to the male child preference, and then social challenges for the single children. It's clearly there in the second paragraph. Then state any one reason for the implementation of one child policy in China. Yes, it was to curb the blasting or exploding population growth at that point of time. Okay. Moving ahead further, question number 32, A part says, state and elaborate whether the following statements are true or false with valid reasons. In Indian rural landscape, agricultural diversification has emerged as a solution for a lot of farmers' problems. It's very much true because agricultural diversification means to diversify to some other production activities other than agriculture. Because of this, the burden on the pressure on agriculture was released because this promoted other activities like cattle breeding, animal husbandry, fisheries, pisciculture, etc. as a source of man's bread and butter there. So it was a solution because it simply withdrew some sort of pressure from the agriculture as the sole economic activity there in rural areas. Then they say informalization of workforce in India has increased various concerns on front of employment generation among the youth of the countries. So informalization means the formal sector is not there these days. It's getting shrunken, right? So this has the major concerns. Why? Because formal sector is always better than informal sector because of the benefits which it gives, like social security benefits of pension, maternity leave, right? And the backup of the unions which can fight for the rights of the people, right? And the consistent and constant salary, not constant, consistent means regular salary. If there is no work, still, if they are registered, if the workers are registered with any organization, they would be paid for the holidays also. So that formal structure is always a blessing for any workforce, but in India, it's getting shrunken. That's why it's becoming the matter of concern for the country. So here we can talk about the benefits of formal sector over informal sector. Then we have in question number 33, A part, first question, discuss briefly causes and consequences of tax reforms taken by the Indian government during economic reforms. So what are the causes? Why did Indian government go for economic reforms in terms of tax reforms? So the motive for tax reform was to make the tax format easy so that people evade less of taxes. They find it easy to pay the taxes, and the tax revenue should increase for the government. But the consequences are, though the causes were good enough, but Indian government really could not help itself with better revenue in terms of tax, right? Tax revenue could not be enhanced. That's the negative point of it. Then you have distinguish between multilateral trade and bilateral trade. Bi means with two and multi means with many. So whenever trade happens with many countries, more than two countries, it's called multilateral trade. But when the trade happens, trade means the sale and purchase of goods and services. So that when happens between two countries, this is called bilateral trade. Then B part, either you go for these two together or you go for these two together. So let's discuss the OR segment. Import substitution policy, if not applied carefully, can prove to be a double-edged sword for any economy. Do you agree? Justify. In such statement, you must give your agreement or disagreement while you are opening the answer. So you simply say, I agree with the given statement, because import substitution is a good policy that their focus is that more of the foreign exchange can be saved from going outside, right? And we would not spend the foreign exchange on importing from other goods, other countries. And at the same time, we would have our self-sufficiency. It was focused on the promotion of the local, domestic, indigenous producers. But if it is not taken positively, means these are the positives. But if it is not implemented positively, if what does it mean? That import substitution policy is executed, then what happens if it is not taken and executed properly? Then people will be relaxed. So they know that imports are curbed now, so domestic people would be fulfilling their domestic needs from us only. So they may go for, relaxed quality parameters and cost. It means the local people may suffer higher costs and low quality because of this policy. Okay. Now, the next question is distinguish between stabilizing measures and structural measures as taken up by the government of India in 1991. So the moment we say stabilizing measure, it says the shortcut, short-term measures, right? Short-term measures which were taken to give a quick fix solution to the problems, like the problems of balance of payment, the problem of inflation, which was very high at that time to the tune of 16 to 17% per annum, right? And when you say structural measures, these are the long-term measures which are taken by the government, which were taken by the government to redo the structure of the Indian economy so that ease of doing business with us could be enhanced, right? The rigidities of the countries and the business could be relaxed. So all those measures which tried to focus on such policies which helped India grow its competitiveness along across the whole country, across the whole globe. So those were the long-term measures. Now, the last question is based on this case study. And here we are given this study which talks about the periodic labor force survey in the year 2023. And we're talking about the youth and female participation, which presents an opportunity to tap the demographic and gender dividend, right? And because of this, there is, more than doubled the formal employment. Okay, so let's understand which questions are being asked. State one significance of rising youth and female participation in Indian workforce. It's very much clearly given. Rising youth and female participation in Indian workforce presents an opportunity to tap the demographic and gender dividend. So there goes your 1 mark. Identify two sectors which may be highlighted as promising for generating quality employment in India. So this lies here, second answer, to generate and sustain quality employment. Agro processing is the first and care economy is the second. These are two promising candidate, means these are two promising sectors. Elaborate the meaning of disguised unemployment with the help of suitable examples. So this is general question which is given from your understanding from the chapter unemployment. So disguised unemployment is such a situation where if the people are withdrawn, there is no bad impact on the productivity if the labor is withdrawn from some work activity. Right, economic activity. For example, if 5 people are working and producing some output, say of 100 units, it can be tons or whatever, metric tons. So if one is withdrawn therefrom, the production still remains 100. There is no suffering of output. It means that one person was disguised unemployed there. So that is an example of disguised unemployment. I hope the whole discussion made some concepts clear for you. Let's see each other once again in the next sample paper. Till then, see ya. Work hard. Bye-bye.